For the last part of tonight's program, I would like to invite three diplomatic representatives who are from the Quad countries. So before everyone gets to their drinks, I think I'd invite Ambassador Sibi George, India's ambassador to Japan.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Sri Dhruv Jayashankar. Thank you, Waraf, Dr. Samir Saran, Chairman of JABIC and a great friend of India, Mr. Maida Tadashi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to see Raisina Tokyo becoming a reality. I see here many experts on foreign policy and security policy, many who have spent years on building India-Japan relations, and almost all who are familiar with Indo-Pacific, its evolution, and the many challenges that it faces today. Most present here are familiar with the confluence of the two seas. Of course, the speech delivered by late Prime Minister Mr. Abe in Indian Parliament in 2007. Most are familiar with FOIP, IPOI, SAGAR, IPEF, and of course, Quad. So let me limit my remarks to a few quick points in the next 4 minutes. 1 point from my Prime Minister, 2 points from my External Affairs Minister, and 2 points of my own. Point number 1. I quote Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, who articulated India's vision of Indo-Pacific. He said, and I quote, "When the oceans are open, the seas are secure, countries are connected, the rule of law prevails, and the region is stable, nations, small and large, prosper as sovereign countries," unquote. For Indians who are present here, it reminds us of the poetic words of our national poet Rabindranath Tagore, who said, and I quote, "Where the mind is without fear, where head is held high, where knowledge is free." I'm sure you can recall that statement. Here is India's vision of Indo-Pacific, and of course that of Quad. Dear friends, point number 2. The who, what, when, where, why, and how of Quad was beautifully articulated in a recent book, Why Bharat Matters, by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jayashankar, which has a full chapter on Quad. Let me quote from him on the what part of it. What does Quad stand for? And I quote, "It has 5 messages. 1, it reflects the growth of a multipolar world order. 2, it is a post-alliance and post-Cold War thinking. 3, it is against spheres of influence. 4, it expresses the democratizing of the global space and a collaborative, not unilateral approach. And 5, it is a statement that in this day and age, others cannot have a veto on our choices," unquote. Point number 3. External Affairs Minister highlights the changes in India's bilateral relationship with the 3 Quad partners. I quote, "With the US, we put behind our ideological hesitations of history. With Japan, we gave a long-standing goodwill much more practical shape. And with Australia, we actually made a real beginning in seriousness," unquote. In this context, let me mention that this year, India and Japan mark the 10th anniversary of Special Strategic and Global Partnership. It is special, it is strategic, it is global. Today, it covers a wide spectrum of areas spanning semiconductors, critical technology, cybersecurity, AI, supply chain resilience. Each of these are also focused in Quad framework. As Ambassador of India to Japan, I would like India-Japan relationship to be the most vibrant of all of India's bilateral partnership. We have been spiritual neighbors with Japan. We have been economic neighbors. And now we are strategic neighbors too. I would like to see a quantum leap in our bilateral engagement, not an incremental progress. Now, let me have my 3 quick points. First, what does India bring to the Quad table? Largest populated country, largest democracy, largest young population. Yes, 1/6 of the total population of the world, but not 1/6 of the problems of the world. It brings solutions to the table. We have seen it during the G20 summit, India's presidency last year. In a divided world, G20 unanimously adopted the New Delhi Declaration, a document of hope, focusing on the challenges and challenges that the global South faces. India brings inclusiveness to the table. My second point, India is a continental and maritime power in Indo-Pacific and in Quad. It is again a unique feature and is important in an interconnected Indo-Pacific. Any development in this part of the world has an impact in Indian Ocean region. Similarly, any development in that part of the world has an impact in the prosperity, security, stability of this region. Let me give you a quick example. I was ambassador in the Middle East. I know 90% of Japan's oil comes from the Middle East. Which is the sea lane it takes? It comes from the Gulf to the Arabian Sea, territorial waters of India, Indian Ocean, go back to Bay of Bengal, territorial waters of India, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Malacca Straits, South China Sea up. This sea lane is so crucial for the entire Indo-Pacific. Any disruption, even for a few hours, can create problems for stability, security, and prosperity of our region. It is interconnected, and confluence of the two seas and the role of Quad is important. My last point. Last 1 year, I had the great opportunity of traveling all across Japan, over 40 prefectures, and interacted with a large section of people. I can tell you this, Indo-Pacific and Quad has captured space for itself in the imagination of every section of Japanese society. When a PhD student in the Oest in Okinawa asked me a question about Quad and Indo-Pacific, when a professor in Hokkaido University talked to me about Quad, I know it has captured the imagination of Japanese public. Let me conclude with an observation by my External Affairs Minister. He said in a recent address, he said the 3 messages of Quad. 1, the Quad is there to stay. 2, the Quad is here to grow. 3rd, the Quad is here to contribute. Thank you. See you again at Raisina 2025 next year. Thank you.
In the spirit of what Dr. Saran said earlier about this being an inclusive conversation involving partners, I'd like to invite Justin Hayhurst, the Australian ambassador to Japan, to the stage. For those of you who may not know, in addition to being ambassador to Japan currently, he previously served in many roles in the Foreign Ministry, DFAT in Australia, including as the Quad coordinator. So without further ado.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to the organisers and to all the participants. I want to pay particular respect to the Deputy Prime Minister of Fiji, a Vulvali partner of Australia, a very important part of our foreign policy framework. It's true that I've had some involvement in the Quad, and I'm a great believer and champion in it because the growth in recent years represents a choice made by each partner to move from strategic reticence to strategic clarity, to become true partners with each other, to share information, but also to coordinate on delivery, to listen and respect regional institutions and organisations, Pacific Island Forum, ASEAN, the leaders of which have been in Melbourne having an historic summit these last 2 days, and to think about the sort of regional order we want, how to articulate it, champion it, defend it, and how to act in support of it. So I think the Quad, as Minister Jaishankar of India says, really is here to stay and grow. And I believe, of course, that for each of the Quad members, there's a lot more to our foreign policies than Quad. The Quad is a great enabler. It adds to what we deliver individually, and it makes us more valuable partners for the broader Indo-Pacific. This conference, I wish it great success. That partnership between India and Japan is something that helps bind the rest of the Quad partners in our region together. And from an Australian point of view, you will always find us in the room with you and hard at work at the task of making a difference in our region. We know peace and stability aren't natural. They don't happen by themselves. They need to be worked at, championed, supported, and constantly reinforced by our words and our actions and our deeds. And the Quad is a very broad vision. We've done vaccines, we've done cable connectivity, we've done maritime security. We will do a lot more together, as will this conference. Congratulations on your inaugural event. I too look forward to coming back next year. Thank you very much.
And our final speaker this evening, if I can invite to the stage Raymond Greene, Deputy Chief of Mission, the Embassy of the United States to Japan. Thank you.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you for the first Raisina Forum in Tokyo. And my congratulations to all of the organizers, especially the Keizai Doyukai, the Observer Research Foundation, and of course, JBIC. In the past few years since its creation, the Quad has evolved into one of the Indo-Pacific region's most premier groupings and has committed itself to tackling the most pressing issues in the world, from climate change to pandemic response. The strength of the Quad lies in its ability to harness the resources and dynamism of our four countries to deliver concrete results for people throughout the region, irrespective of where they live. Our combined efforts require creativity, adaptability, expertise, and professionalism. We are proud to work alongside Quad partners to realize our shared affirmative visions. President Biden described the Quad's ambitions in June 2023 when hosting Prime Minister Modi at the White House. He said, decades from now, people will look back and say the Quad bent the arc of history towards a global good. Together, we offer the region and the globe options and opportunities. We demonstrate what our four democracies can deliver by working together and listening to our friends, allies, partners, and neighbors. Here in Tokyo, it's clear the Quad has enhanced the incredible partnership between the United States and Japan. Just as the United States and Japan are better off when we work together, collaboration among the four Quad countries is mutually reinforcing, multiplying our power to advance a free and open Indo-Pacific, as well as a global rules-based order. Similarly, the Quad is devoted to promoting shared prosperity throughout the region, including through our coordination and development of critical and emerging technologies. The standards and practices for revolutionary technologies such as AI and machine learning must be developed by democratic governments accountable to their people. These technologies must be used to make the lives of our citizens more secure, prosperous, and rewarding. Whether it's diversifying and deepening our supply chains, encouraging our private sectors to innovate, or identifying trusted funding for infrastructure, Quad countries will be the central force in the region's prosperity over the long term. Through the Quad, we have also strengthened our preparedness to emerging crises such as natural disasters and pandemics, as well as facing the challenges posed by climate change. Finally, our four nations are investing in Quad fellowships that will support thousands of young people from our countries and the entire region to interact and learn from each other. The United States envisions the Quad will be a strong pillar of the Indo-Pacific's regional architecture and a vehicle to uphold the rules-based order. We look forward to continuing to work hand in hand with our Quad partners and all of you as we tackle some of the most difficult regional and global challenges together. Thank you again for all of the sponsors for providing this platform today. And we very much look forward to hearing the outcomes of this year's Raisina Tokyo Dialogue, as well as the plans for 2025. Thanks so much.